A load balancer can be a software or hardware appliance that distributes the load over multiple servers using TCP or UDP. Some examples are websites, web services, email, print servers, and much more. Not only can it serve the purpose of load balancing, it can also be used for failover. In this demo, we are using a software load balancer called KEMP. This is an easy-to-install software load balancer deployed to VMware with a .ovf template. One of the first things you must do is configure a virtual service. The virtual service will have an IP address associated with it. This is the IP address that users connect to instead of the real server addresses where we are load balancing. The virtual address is 192.168.30.31, which is outside the DHCP zone. Port 80 will be used since this is an HTTP website. We put a service name in so we know what this is for. Templates are useful because they help predefine some settings related to the type of service you are load balancing. You can get the templates from the KEMP website, as you see here. This is Apache and Tomcat, but as we scroll up, you see that there are many different types of services we could load balance with KEMP. Let's go back to the load balancer. We'll select the template Apache HTTP. Then click Add this virtual service. When this service is added, there are many options such as quality of service. These options can help so the service you're load balancing isn't overloaded. The default is 0, which is off. Advanced settings can help you with things such as redirecting or enabling caching. The bottom is where we will add the real servers. These are the web servers that we will load balance. We'll click Add New. We enter the first web server, 192.168.30.10. Click Add this real server. The second one is 192.168.30.11. Both web servers will use port 80 since they are only HTTP websites. The forwarding method will say NAT since that is the only option. You can adjust the weight if you want to send more traffic to one server than the other. For now, we left them both 1000. One thing that's nice, you can hover over an option and get a description to help you set it. Connection limit and connection rate can be set. However, we won't do that in this demo. Click Add this real server. After clicking OK, you can see we have 2 real servers now configured for this virtual service. We need to make more changes for this virtual service to work correctly. If we go to View, Modify Services, we can see the virtual service we have made. On the right, Modify allows us to go back into the settings. Down at the bottom, we can set the URL we want to load balance. Since the web servers don't have a website at the root directory, we need to add /test.html to the URL area. Next, click Set URL. Now we are ready to test load balancing with our websites. If we open a new tab, we can go to http://192.168.30.10/test.html. This shows us the first web server. If we modify the address and change the 10 to 11, we get the second web server. In a real-world scenario, the website on both servers would be identical. We made these different so you can identify the server we are on during load balancing. Now that we know our web servers work, let's use the virtual IP address. If we go back to the load balancer, it can tell both web servers are online. Our virtual IP is 192.168.30.31. Let's go there. When we type it in there, you can see it's going to webserver-svp01. A common thing we can do with a virtual IP is associate it with a DNS name. On the Pi-hole DNS server over here, we can scroll down and go to Local DNS and DNS records. You can already see that we have records for the web servers. Let's add a record for the virtual IP. The domain is testwebsite.com and the virtual IP address is 192.168.30.31. After clicking Add, it will add it to the list of records. Let's test this out. On the Web Server tab, we'll remove the IP address and put in testwebsite.com. then click Enter. Great, it still shows web server-svp01. Just to make things more interesting, let's force traffic to go to web server-svp02. We have maintenance to attend to on web server-svp01. If we go back to the Load Balancer tab and modify the virtual service, we can go down to the real servers and click Disable on web server-svp01. Once it's disabled, we can go back and test. Be aware that many browsers do cache websites. So in order for this to be visible right away, we must open a new in-private window. If we enter the web address testwebsite.com/test.html, we can see it's now showing web server-svp02. That's it for this demo. In this demo, we showed you how to configure a load balancer, add web servers to the load balancer, and test both IP and DNS with the web servers.